In today's episode, I'm being blessed to introduce Martin Sukenik, also known as Peter Andre, came over from Wigan to jump on an episode. Back in 2010, Martin moved from his home country of Slovakia to the UK to pursue a career in property. Martin's a deal sourcing specialist who completes deals for his overseas clients. He shares with me in this episode his struggles when he first moved to the UK, how he had to work in a car wash for 9 months just before finalising his very first deal. 14 years later, and he's completed nearly 300 deals, which have been mostly for his Hong Kong-based investors. Now he's branching out to source deals in Cyprus and in Spain, as well as looking to settle down into a sunny European country in the future. He's a no-bullshit guy, sharply dressed, full of motivation, which is one of the things I love about him. Welcome, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down from Wigan.
Yep.
Awesome. Introduce yourself, mate. Tell the listeners a bit about Martin.
So Martin, and I specialize to work with overseas clients.
Yeah.
I help them to build portfolios.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do for a living.
Properties. And where do you do that? Is that in
It's
Wigan
mainly
or?
Northwest. My main area is Manchester, but I sell in Liverpool as well, Wigan, St Helens, bigger towns where we can rent it fast and it makes sense in capital appreciation as well.
Mm-hmm. How did you get into that?
Books.
Books?
Yeah.
That was your education, was books?
Yeah. I was reading lots of books. 2014, I came to UK 2010, started working in warehousing, and I realized that attitude is the only thing that you really need to progress. So I had the right attitude. I became a supervisor in 9 months, started learning English, improved English. And as I went to contract manager role, I started reading more about leadership and motivational books. And in every single one book, all wealthy people were talking about real estate. There were somehow involved in real estate. So they either had a lot of investment, or they had some portfolio, they bought some block of flats that they rented, and through books basically I was started digging, and then I bought couple books which were tailored to UK property, explaining basic strategies like buy-to-let, rent-to-rent, HMOs and all that. And I found this strategy deal sourcing and found it interesting that, I can link the seller and the buyer and make money in between as a deal maker, basically.
So that's your main business, is deal sourcing?
That's my main business, basically.
Nice. And so your clients are overseas, you said, yeah?
Most of them are overseas. I've got 90% of my clients are from Hong Kong.
Yeah. There's a lot of trust involved in that then, right?
A lot.
Yeah. How did you manage to get that or build that, or in fact, how did you start with that? Like, how does someone come from, I only say this because I know, how does someone come from Slovakia over to the UK, start learning English, reads a fucking book, and then starts bringing in millions of pounds from Hong Kong? How do you do that?
I think it's all linked to my core values and loyalty. That's what I always believe, that it can make me a lot of money. And I believe it will make me a lot of money in the long term. To build relationships, some of my clients bought property from me from pictures and videos. They never even visited the property, and they bought properties ranging from 100k to 450,000 properties that I basically help them to secure and basically source for them, even for relocation. Some of them relocated from Hong Kong. They were looking for properties in more affluent areas. So it's you have to earn trust. It's not something that will happen overnight. Many people in this business think that they will start and in 2-3 months time they will be trustworthy. You have to earn it. It took me 5 years to be in a position where I am now. It's not something that will happen like this. It's one client after another client. It's the feedback you get. It's the word they spread, basically. Word of mouth is the most powerful thing. If someone is happy with your training, what's going to happen? 10 people in their circle will know about you. And most likely some of them will sign up.
So what stands, I mean, I know this, so this is actually really hard to ask you because I already know the answer. What is it that, for them listening, what is it that stands you out above all other deal sources out there? Because there's fucking thousands of them. Everybody wants
thousands of them.
Everybody wants let's just give that a bit more context for people that don't know. So deal sourcer being someone that finds a property, finds a buyer, and then puts those two people together and charges a fee for doing so, right? In a nutshell.
Of course.
Now, from the property education space that I listen to, that I see and observe and watch, people are sold this dream of riches through doing this. And it's effectively a strategy or a business that a person can build with little capital input from themselves. So they can basically start this business from a mobile phone, right?
Correct.
In theory.
Yeah.
So how many deals have you done now? Must be over, like you said.
Close to 300 probably.
So almost 300 deals, right? You don't do that if you've had a shit one, right? So what is it about Martin and Rainbow Sourcing that is still called that?
It's the focus on clients. You know, client in business is the only element that can fire you. If you don't have clients, you have no business, basically. So I just put the best focus on my delivery of the excellent service, efficiency, keeping to my word, transparency, no bullshit. Those are my core values, and I found it easy, deliver. I knew that if I say something, I will do it. I would sweat blood to do it.
I think where I'm trying to get to is that, like, you're talking about fulfillment of service here, and I know these things about you. I've heard these things about you, and you show these things about you constantly. So with that being fulfillment, how is it that someone gets to that stage 300 times? Like, what comes before that is what I'm getting at.
So what comes before that? Let me give you an example. First year of my sourcing, I sold one deal.
One deal in a year?
One deal.
Wow.
So that's $2,500 I made on that deal.
How did you keep going?
In 1 year. My missus doesn't even know this. I was buying food from credit card. So I took redundancy. I was at senior contract manager position in recruitment. I was offered redundancy because there was some restructure. I would have to travel a lot, probably somewhere to look after Birmingham side. So, and I was already full of information. I was ready. That was the time. I said, right, now or never. So I had no plan B, basically. My plan was to be in a business. This is how I always saw myself, being in a business, being successful, and have that freedom. That's priceless for me. So I set up limited company, cheap website, GoDaddy, did it by myself, 120 quid, basic things, what do you need, professional indemnity insurance, ICO, and HMRC supervision, basically for anti-money laundering. That will cost you probably about £1,000 in total. You need it to look professional, basic business cards and leaflets. So I started with the leaflets. I was going out to all the street delivering leaflets. Those brought me some deals, but first year I sold one deal. I bought car wash. I spent 9 months washing cars, making around £300 a month. Because it was in a bad area. The car wash couple streets away were doing mini valet for £5. So I couldn't compete with that. Beginning was tough. What makes difference between those that will survive and those that won't, that will varnish, is persistence.
Yeah, definitely.
I had no plan B. I had one vision: to be in a business or pack my fucking stuff and go back to Slovakia. Unfortunately, I was a little bit selfish and I put my family in risk position because I was paying for food from credit card.
Yeah.
Because I already spent money that I've been paid off from recruitment. The fact that, you know, I was making £300 in a car wash wasn't great because my expenses were probably about 1,500 with mortgage and all that. But somehow I survived, basically. And then it's about September 2019, I came across to this Hong Kong group. I sold this guy one deal, and he brought more clients. We started serving them. I started selling, got money in a bank account. I remember like yesterday, you know, that feeling. Finally, I've got $3,000, $5,000, you know, it's growing. I survived. That feeling of fulfillment is unbelievable.
But I saw a Facebook ad that said that deal sourcing, you can earn $10,000 a month straight away.
It's bullshit.
What do you think to that?
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Yes, you can. You can make even 50 grand. You know, some of the big deals, if you sell block of flats, the usual fee that you charge is probably 2% plus VAT. So block of flat worth million, you can make a good fee out of it, but it's not going to happen overnight.
No, how does someone
who
go
will
from...
buy, you know, block of flats from you have to know that they deal with reputable person.
Yep.
They will not deal with deal sourcer who just set up their Facebook account. They don't even have a picture there. And they fucking say that, you know, they do deals.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. So tell us about your first deal specifically, that first 2.5K. What was that?
It was a house in Wigan. Actually, my first deal I never sold. So I found a deal, happy as Larry, I've got deal. That was in Wigan as well, part called Goulburn. I cleaned property by myself. I got rid of the rubbish after tenant on my own cost. It was about 250 quid. But, you know, when you're not making money, 250 is a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah.
I staged it, I took the pictures and I presented to the buyers that I had at that time. It was about 15 people on Excel sheet and no one bought it. It needed some work. I think I didn't include the refurbishment cost well, and that's why I didn't sell it. That was my first deal. The first one that I sold was in Wigan, and I actually sold it to this guy from Hong Kong. And funnily enough, and this is the power of networking, I remember like yesterday, there was a PPN networking event, and it was on, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Saturday. Saturday evening about 7 o'clock it started. It was in Manchester city centre. And I'm thinking myself, I'm in my garden and I'm thinking, should I go, should I not go? And then obviously my business mind kicked in. Yes, you have to go, you have no buyers. So get your fucking ass out and go and meet these people. So I met this Hong Kong guy. He bought this deal from me and he brought me about 1,500 buyers.
Amazing. From one chance encounter?
From one exchange of business card, because he created in Hong Kong a group.
So let's just let's dig into that some more. Like, how did the coming together of you two people, like, what was it about you that you can articulate that he said, I'm bringing all my people to this guy?
I think at that time he was looking for sources anyway, so I just exchanged the business card with him. But
so you think he was doing that with more than one person, or was he just wanting to?
Of course, with everyone. But this particular guy, he was looking for me, and I was in that room that night. If I wasn't there, I wouldn't be in this sourcing position now. So this is the thing, you know. Many times you think, should I go? Should I not go? Yes, I had many times feeling after some networking events, property networking events, that I'm wasting my time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the speakers didn't tell me anything. It's not my cup of tea. It's not aligned with my core values, if that makes sense. Sometimes I left some networking events and I said to myself, fucking hell, I just wasted 2-3 hours of my life. But sometimes, like in this case, it brought me massive business on the table.
You never know when that's going to happen, do you?
You never know. This is the thing. One networking event, I met a guy who have family wealth, and they've got a couple million to spend, basically. Big client. And I just tapped on his shoulder because he was in front of me. I had a quick chat with him. He phoned me 3 months after that he wants me to bring him deals on the table. we had a couple deals going, and he's a big investor, so you never know who you meet in the room. Sometimes the most quiet ones are the best ones that you need, basically. You know, those who shout and bark are dogs that don't do anything.
Yeah. No, I get it. And to watch you grow over the years I've known you, what have we known you now? 3-4 years maybe?
3-4 years,
3-4 years.
Yeah.
To watch you go through that process and to see where you are now it's nothing short of incredible. And to know what you're doing now and sourcing overseas, sourcing in Marbella, Spain, Northern Cyprus, Southern Cyprus, like, what drove Martin from, you've got a successful sourcing business in Manchester here, that you've done 300 deals, why go abroad? What's that thought process?
I somehow like Mediterranean lifestyle, and you know, it just clicked. Last year I was in Mallorca for holiday with family, and I went to this Cyprus. I was approached by one lady whether I want to collaborate.
You look Cypriot, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. And I was approached by her, and I went there because every time I want to do something, I want to feel it, I want to see it, I want to see what I'm selling. And I spent about 4 or 5 days in one of these apartments in Northern Cyprus, a place called Iskele. Big developments around this company. Is basically doing Caesar projects, so it's like a big block of apartments. You've got swimming pool in the middle, you've got gym, nice restaurant, cafe. You also have a mini market, because they are made like kind of like Airbnb. If you want to cook, and if that's what you want, you can cook for a week. So what brought me there is to go there, and I always saw myself to sell better houses, better spec properties. I think that is the direction that I'm going now, basically. From selling shitty little terrace houses in Liverpool and anywhere else, to a little bit better spec and more expensive properties, and targeting different audience, because I do believe I belong to that circle. You know, I want to be in that circle. I want to be working with, you know, wealthy people, because I do believe I'm a trustworthy person, and you know, there are people out there who will appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned there that you're going to go for a different target audience, different target client for your Cypriot sourcing business. Are those people still going to be in Hong Kong, or is this going to be something to
Anywhere
UK?
in the world.
Anywhere
in the world. They can be from UK. Basically, I signed 6 contracts with 6 biggest developers in Northern Cyprus. And those properties are ranging from studio, which is about 90k, up to villa 400k.
Is this euros or pounds?
Pounds.
Pounds. Yeah.
Pounds. So my main target is someone who wants to buy a holiday home. Like I want to buy a place there because I would love to invite my family from Slovakia that can fly there. It's 2 hours flight to Cyprus from Slovakia, or 2.5. It's probably 3.5 hours for me from Manchester. And we could have a place where we can all gather, nice beach, and the time while you're not there, you can rent it. You can rent it as Airbnb. If you stage it, if you got some reputable company there, management company, who will look after it, you know, you can rent it throughout the year. Obviously, there are dead months. You know, some people will tell you, no, it will be rented all year. I don't think it will be. You know, October, November, December, January, February, there is not much going on. But as soon as the sun is out in March, April, you know, the people are out, and you've been there. You can see the environment is beautiful. You wake up and you've got different energy. That's why
it's my favorite country on the planet.
That is something that drags me there, basically, because I want to end up in one of those countries. I'm not staying in the UK. As much as I'm grateful for this country to give me opportunities, I want to be in one of those countries with the beach and nice lifestyle, you know, seafood restaurants, cafe.
Great, it's absolutely great.
It's
I think
brilliant.
we went 3 times last year, and I think we've been 3 times this year already. 3 times? February. No, I've been twice this year, about to go again in November. We've just started a retreat business over there that starts in October this year. And I'm also going to buy a holiday home in Cyprus as well. So for me, like, and I guess this is where, you might even actually be able to help me with this. When we went holiday home hunting just last week in Cyprus, and we've just focused on really the south coast. And when I went, we stayed in a place called Aphrodite Hills, which is a high-end golf resort. And the villas, apartments on that site, they range from like 300k starting point, and they go up to 6-7 million euros. That is.
Yep.
And before we went, I was saying to Lisa, like, we're going to go buy somewhere in Aphrodite Hills. It's going to be amazing. And we got there, and I felt quite isolated in that everything was a drive. It was a drive to the supermarket. It was a drive to the restaurants. And it felt nice to be there on holiday and have to do that. But if I lived there, I think that would piss me off.
Okay.
Having to get in the car to go everywhere. Because I live in quite a rural place now. And that bugs me, which is why I'm moving down to the city. So we started to look at outlying villages. And we visited a village about 5 kilometres away from Aphrodite Hills called Pasuri. It's a little fishing village on the south coast, just east of Paphos. And I loved it. I thought we got there, and I immediately fell in love with it. There was a row of restaurants, beach bars, a supermarket, petrol station, and those things they sound like things that we in the UK take for granted.
Yeah.
But for a Cypriot little village, there's a lot there for a small, tiny village like that. Lots of development going off. As I counted.
What were the prices?
So Pasuri itself, there was a lot of off-plan development for sale, €500,000.
Okay.
There was some real high-end stuff, and there was some refurb opportunities as well. So it's quite a nice little area. There's also, as I counted, there was about 300 million quid's worth of land for sale, which tells me it's a prime spot for development. It's actually classed as Limassol district, despite being really close to Paphos. It's right on the border. And Limassol price per square foot is higher than Paphos. If you didn't know, it's double Limassol. So we're in this little village, and I really fell in love with the place. And Lisa said to me, let's go and look at Paphos Centre and see how we feel about going there. So we hopped into the car, went down to Paphos. It's about a 20-minute drive from Pasuri. Came across a little village called Kisanerja. And mate, that was fucking next level. And every village we went to after, I was like, this is the place. This is the place. Went on to Coral Bay. This is the place. Went on to Lachi and Polis up on the northwest coast. We're going here. We're going to stay here. And then Lisa said the worst thing ever. And it must have been, for her, like, I'm with her when she wants to go shoe shopping. Went in every fucking shop and then back to the first one. So we go back to Pasuri. And I said, I know we said Coral Bay, but I love it here. Let's go and have another look at Polis. Yeah, it's Polis. And I literally cannot make my mind up about the area. So our next strategy then became, look, let's write down the villa that we want. Let's look at the spec. And the things she wants are rather basic. So she wants 3 bedrooms, a roof terrace, a box structure, not a traditional pitch roof like Cypriot Pantel roof. She wants a box. You know, the modern type that's getting built everywhere. Swimming pool, south-facing, sea or mountain view. That was her only criteria. So we typed this criteria into Rightmove. Guess how many there were? There was fucking thousands of them. All the way across that bottom coast. So it was like, right, now area needs to be the thing. And we literally can't decide. So if I came to you and told you all that shit, what would you tell me? What would be your advice? How do I pick?
Go for your feelings, 100%.
Yeah,
If you're buying something for yourself, I personally, for example, when I was buying my own house, I walked in and I was like, right, this is the one. Something clicked, and I had that feeling like I can imagine to live here. Because remember, if you will be looking only in the areas, you can still drive to different areas.
Yeah.
Once you got placed there,
she said that.
Once you got placed there, you can take yourself from A to B. You can. I drove because I didn't have flight to Larnaca, which is closer to northern Cyprus. I was flying to Paphos, and it took me 2.5 hours to drive. I got a car, hired a car, and I went slowly to northern Cyprus, and I was driving around the coast, and it was a nice trip.
Yeah.
So
nice.
you can really travel anywhere you want. Once you got a car there, the other areas are not. I think stick to the spec. Obviously, that's important. Yes, most of them will tick the boxes, but is that what she's looking for? Pictures, videos. You will see that one of them will catch your eyes, and you will feel like, right, this is the one. This is the one.
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot.
There is lots
of off-plan opportunity out there at the minute. So I don't know if you know the answer to this, but if you do tell me. What sort of saving do you think a person would achieve on GDV by buying off-plan in Cyprus?
In Cyprus, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe between 10 and 20%.
20%?
Yeah. Because it's always cheaper when you buy off-plan.
Yeah, yes, of course, yeah. You're funding the build, aren't you?
It's a waiting list, but once it's built, the value is higher. Because some of them will be sold, they will be resold. Some people's circumstances will change. They want to exit. Some of them will be pure investment, that they will be just renting them out. But I believe up to 20%.
Yeah. As soon as we got back last week, mate, it was like, when are we going again? We're due to go in October. Lisa wants to go now again in between.
I love it.
Yeah, it's crazy. What do you love about it the most?
The style, the lifestyle.
Yeah.
The restaurants. I love seafood myself. I was born in August. I'm Leo in astrological sign. I love sunshine. I have to end up in one of these countries, 100%. And it might be Cyprus.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
might be neighbours.
It will definitely be Europe, somewhere around Mediterranean, basically.
Yeah.
For some reason, nothing is dragging me to Dubai. Everyone is talking about it. I don't know. Europe is beautiful. I've been to Spain. There are some nice places there. I just like that lifestyle. Nice beach. You can have a walk. That food is next level.
Yeah.
Next level.
Yeah. I love Cyprus. It's an amazing place. Have you ever been in the winter?
I was actually there in January, so it was kind of winter, and it was 15 degrees.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I was stationed out there when I was in the forces. I was based up at Decalia Garrison, just outside of Larnaca, where you just mentioned, and we had a Christmas there. In fact, I had 2 Christmases there. I had one in Larnaca, in a hotel in Larnaca. Mum and Dad flew over. We had a barbecue on Christmas Day, which was mental.
Crazy.
And then another Christmas we had in Karinya, in the north, on the North Cypriot border. And they are, Northern Cypriots are Muslim, right?
Not most of them. It's obviously Turkish populated, but there are Christians as well. It's split between.
They didn't celebrate Christmas where we went.
Okay.
We went to a hotel and there was no Christmas. We went on Christmas Day and went to this hotel. And there's belly dancers coming in like it was a normal Saturday night. My mum was like, what is happening here?
That's a Turkish.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Thing.
It's crazy. And where was I going with that? In the winter. And living over there in the winter is really strange to see like everything close. Like, all the bars shut, the restaurants shut, and the bakeries still go. Have you been to a Cypriot bakery?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Most of these, villages and cities, they live from tourists. Let's face it.
Yeah, totally.
Even Spain.
Yeah.
If there were no tourists in, Marbella and all these places, who would be there? How many locals would buy in restaurants when they could cook at home? So they live from tourists, and it's booming in summer, and I just like it. It's something that drags me there, basically. That this is the place where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you can replicate this business. You can, real estate. It's kind of business that will always be there. This building will be here. We won't be here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're tenants at all times, aren't we?
Yeah.
Whether we own it or not, we're still tenants.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what's next then? What's the growth for you now? So we've gone from coming over, working in a fucking car wash, to now selling 300 deals and sourcing property in Cyprus. What's next?
I think the next for me is to create a small circle of investors and people with money. I want to attract some big players, and I want to work with them. Definitely want to use my network that I built over the years. People like yourself with your expertise for conversions and different type of projects. And yeah, for me, I think the next is to be in these circles and do the business. I love doing business, and I want to attract people who need someone who's reliable, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
I based my business.
There's so many fuckers out there, right?
There is so many fuckers in this game. I've heard, even with Hong Kong clients, for example, I've heard stories. I personally delivered 3 rescue projects where client paid about 60 grand for HMO conversions, and the property was finished for 10%. I've seen projects where they put the plasterboards on, they didn't even do any points for switch or socket, they just showed some kind of progress on the video, and they took extra money and then just disappeared basically.
This is the builder?
Yeah,
shocking.
it's happening, not just builder, even project managers. People do this on regular basis. I've seen it so many times. These people being sold shitty properties that they should never ever buy because it's in shittest area in, I don't want to name the towns because people will...
Go on, name the fucking town.
Nelson. It's basically in the bad areas where your targeted tenant is just fucking moron, basically, who will trash it. And you can do the refurb again in 6 months, I was just, 2 days ago, I was putting some figures together of deals I sold and refurbished for some of my clients. So there was one particular deal, and this is about the numbers. Everyone think that the cheapest deal is the best deal in the world. So my client bought one property of me, which is in Manchester, M27 area, called Swinton. He bought it in March 21 for 185,000. That property is worth 260 now. He didn't do any refurb to it. He just bought it right time, in the right place,
capital appreciation,
and the right type of property. 3-bed semi, freehold, nice big building, that appreciated almost 75,000 in 3 years?
Nice. 25k a year.
So, the cheapest deals are not the best deals. Even BMV, yes, of course, it's great when you secure property below market value, but that doesn't mean that BMV is the only deal you want to focus on, basically. Most of my clients bought properties for the market price in 2019, made 60, 70 grand by now, because they bought in the right areas.
At the right time.
At the right time as well.
Yeah. What keeps you going?
My family. I do all this for them. Yeah. When I turn up at home and I've got those 2 kids looking at me, I want to be the dad that they deserve, basically. I want to be that role model for my kids, basically, that when they one day turn around and they will say, this motherfucker was working hard for us. That's what I want. That's what keeps me going.
Love it. So contrary to that, how do you switch off?
Cigar.
Yeah?
When I smoke cigar, I love cigars. From time to time, it's good to catch up with friends, have a couple of drinks, and, you need to switch off. I think, for me, every 3-4 months, I feel that, the battery is low and I have to recharge it, and the best recharge is holiday with family. Like this summer, we decided we're going back home to see family. I've got parents there. I've got, sister with little nephew. My missus got sister with 2 kids. We are godparents to them, so I still want to see them. So we said, okay, we're not going for that type of holiday. We're going to see family for 2 weeks. And that's a great switch off for me, and recharge, basically. Recharge the batteries, see the people that, you love, and
is it a switch for you?
Yes, I'm workaholic.
See, I can't do that.
I'm workaholic, so it's very hard for me to stay away from my phone. Even we went for holiday to Mallorca, and first thing I did, I intentionally left my phone in room, but when I came back, all
Straight
the WhatsApp, emails, replied. I can't be different. You know, I'm replying to my clients 11 p.m. and again 5:30 in the morning when I wake up. So, you know, but efficiency put me in this position.
Yeah, of course.
Because they said, "Oh, Martin, you are efficient." Of course I am. Because this is not 9-5 job. This is my business. You know, if I won't serve you, someone else will.
So given that, do you think we ever switch off, entrepreneurs?
Not really.
I don't.
No. Probably not.
I find that it's the hardest thing.
It's a hard thing, but you have to learn it, or at least try to switch off. You know, for me, you know, spending time with family is the most precious time, because those memories will last forever. You know, one day my kids will remember our holidays, our time together in restaurant, you know, family gatherings. You know, they won't remember me driving around Manchester and selling deals. You know, that's just a part of it, basically.
Yeah. Who do you look up to? I've never asked anyone that before.
You mean like who's my kind of like role model, or?
Yeah. Who's the fucking man? Mine's Arnold Schwarzenegger. As a businessman and as a human being.
I would say Mike Francesi.
Who's that?
The guy I went to his event. He used to be in Cosa Nostra, and he was in his prime. He was making 7 to 10 million a week.
Doing what?
Selling petrol and diesel and paying taxes. It was illegal, but you know, someone who was able to make that kind of money has massive respect from me. There is more people, obviously. I just named him because I went to his event 2 weeks ago. For me, it's usually successful people. When I read some books, I never copy anyone. I want to be myself. My name is Martin. I love cigars, I love whiskey, I'm loyal. You know, this is me. I can't be different, and I don't want to be anyone else. I don't want to be Samuel Leeds, because I can't be. You know, many people in this game, they try to copy others, and they forget that the best thing you can do is be yourself.
Yeah,
basically.
100%, mate. I did a session with, I think it was with Ibrahim in one of the older episodes, and this topic came up. And this is something I did when I first started in this space. The coach I was working with at the time, I was this scruffy fucking builder, and I came across this guy, and I really looked up to him as a mentor and as a role model and everything else. And I started fucking turning into him. I even wore the same clothes as him. And I remember seeing a photo of myself talking on a stage, and I was even wearing the same shirt as what he wore. And it was in that moment I saw myself in that photo, and I went, nah. That ain't me. I don't wear that fucking Victoria's Secret shirt. Not Victoria's Secret. I always get the two mixed up. Vivienne Westwood. Like, I don't dress like that. Why am I wearing that? So I went back to what I'm comfortable in, which is a t-shirt and walking pants.
Same for me. Just because I like blazers and suits, I don't expect everyone to like it. Because we are all different.
It's not about
this is pyjama for me.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Do you understand? I love this.
Totally.
And I was digging, why am I attracted to this? And I found out that I come from family of tailors.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was subconscious?
My great-grandfather, apparently, obviously he was a tailor, and he came from a small village, but that time people wore suits only to wedding and funeral. He was going to the shop in a suit, basically. So, you know, I was digging, but just because I like it, I don't expect everyone to be the same. I respect that. You know, if this is you, who am I to tell you what to wear, or you know? But I just don't like when people kind of judge it, and they they want me to be like them. I don't want to be like them. I want to be myself. You know,
Mate,
this
I've
is me.
always known you like that. It's not something that I've ever thought, like, why is he wearing a suit? Actually, it's the polar opposite. When I see you and
Why
not
is
in
he
a
not?
suit, why aren't you dressed up?
Yeah.
Remember you came to play golf with us that time,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
was
yeah.
fucking dressed in a suit.
Yeah.
Like, and if you'd have come in something different, I'd have been
Yeah.
like, why is he dressed like that? That's weird. That doesn't sit right with me. But yeah, when I put a suit on, if I'm going to a networking event or something like that, people say that to me. What are you dressed like that for? You know,
But I like your style with waistcoats and...
Got it off you, mate.
Yeah, nice.
Inspiring.
I like it.
Mate, it's been a pleasure. Before we sign off, what is the next fucking big thing that Martin's going to do?
I'm going to create that inner circle of investors, wealthy people who will invest with us in real estate, and they will be covered by us. There will be no motherfuckers in that circle.
Love it. Fucking love it. Brilliant. Mate, thanks for coming up. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
See you soon. Thanks for sticking around till the end. All the social handles from both of us are below. I'll see you in the next one.